Hi friends, today we are going to be reading a story called Just Ask, Be Different, Be Brave, Be You, written by Sonia Sotomayor and illustrated by Rafael Lopez.
By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to say 3 things. I can actively listen and contribute to a discussion with my 4th grade peers and teachers while behaving appropriately. I can express the takeaways, the summary, theme, message, and definition while and after discussing with my 4th grade class and in reflecting by completing a worksheet in Seesaw. I can write complete sentences in detail using cups to summarize my findings from the read aloud and discussion. These are today's objectives that you will be completing during our discussion, read aloud, and seesaw activity. Today's read aloud, Just Ask, Be Different, Be Brave, Be You, written by Sonia Sotomayor, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. Take a minute and look at what you see in the title of the book. Hi, I'm Sonia. My friends and I are planting a garden. Gardens are magical places. Thousands of plants bloom together, but every flower, every berry, and every leaf is different. Each has a different smell, a different color, a different shape, and different purposes. Some flowers need lots of sunlight, others thrive in the shade. Some have to be trimmed regularly, while others are better off left alone. Some trees and flowers are more fragile, and others are more hardy. Kids are all different too. Some of us are in a hurry, and others take more time. Some of us seem shy and quiet, while others are chatty and loud. Some of our differences are easy to spot, others take longer to notice. Each of us grows in our own way, so if you are curious about other kids, just ask. Not everyone is comfortable answering questions about themselves, but I don't mind. What am I doing? Several times a day, I prick my finger to measure the sugar in my blood, and I give myself shots of medicine called insulin. I do this because I have diabetes, and my body doesn't make insulin naturally like other people's. Even though this can sometimes hurt, I gather all of my courage to do it to be healthy. Do you ever need to take medicine to be healthy? Do you ever need to take medicine to be healthy? Here we can see Sonia giving herself a shot of insulin after taking her blood sugar. She's giving herself a shot of insulin because her blood levels were too high, and insulin will help lower her blood level in sugar to get it where it needs to be healthy. Our first discussion question is, Sonia wants to know if you ever need to take medicine to be healthy. Do you ever need to take medicine to be healthy? I do. My name is Raphael, and I have asthma, which means I sometimes have trouble breathing. When that happens, I take a break and use an inhaler with medicine to make breathing easier. Quiet time helps me slow down and catch my breath. My inhaler is like a tool to help my body. Do you use a tool to help your body? Do you use a tool to help your body? Here we can see Raphael holding his inhaler in his left hand as he paints on rocks. The inhaler will help dispense medicine to help him breathe easier. Our second discussion question is, Raphael wants to know if you use a tool to help your body stay healthy. For example, an inhaler. Do you use a tool to help your body stay healthy? I'm Anthony, and I use a wheelchair to get around. Even though I can't run with my legs, I can go super fast. How do you get from place to place? How do you get from place to place? We can see Anthony here zooming along in his wheelchair, having fun with his friends. Our third discussion question is, Anthony wants to know, how do you get from place to place? How do you get from place to place? My name is Madison, and my guide dog Lucky helps me get places safely because I'm blind. My friend Arturo is blind too. He uses a cane to get around. Even though we can't see, we strengthen our other senses and notice lots of details others may miss. We can hear with our ears, smell with our noses, and feel with our hands. How do you use your senses? How do you use your senses? Our fourth discussion question is, Madison wants to know, how do you use your senses? How do you use your senses? I'm Vijay. I learn about the world differently because I can see, but I can't hear. I'm deaf. Most of the time, I communicate with people using my face and hands through sign language. It's cool to know another language. I also love reading and writing. What about you? Our fifth discussion question is Vijay, who is deaf, loves to read and write. What do you love to do? What do you love to do? I'm Bianca and I have dyslexia, so I have to work really hard and take my time when I'm reading and writing words. Sometimes I use computer programs to help me. I love learning by doing things. My imagination is full of ideas and I'm very good at making art from the pictures I see in my mind. Are you really good at something? Are you really good at something? Our sixth discussion question is Bianca wants to know if you are really good at something. Are you really good at something? I'm great at dinosaurs. I know all about them. I'm Jordan, and I have autism. Organizing and counting all my toy dinosaurs again and again makes me feel calm. My classmate Tiana also has autism, but it's different for her. She doesn't talk. But I like to talk. I especially like to talk about dinosaurs. What do you like to talk about? What do you like to talk about? Our seventh discussion question is Jordan and Tiana want to know, what do you like to talk about? What do you like to talk about? For me, listening comes more easily than talking, and I'm a really good listener. My name is and I speak with a stutter, so I sometimes repeat a word or get stuck when I try to say it. It may take a little longer to express myself, and sometimes I'm too shy to talk, but I understand everything that is going on. Do you ever wonder if people understand you? Do you ever wonder if people understand you? Our eighth discussion question is An wants to know, do you ever wonder if people understand you? Do you ever wonder if people understand you? I do. My name is Julia. Sometimes I wiggle or make sounds that I can't control because I have Tourette's syndrome. People may look at me funny because they think I'm not paying attention or just acting out, but it's not true. I am listening. I don't always like having to explain. It frustrates me. But it helps when I tell people that it's just what my body does. Do you ever feel frustrated? Do you ever feel frustrated? Our ninth discussion question is Julia wants to know, do you ever get frustrated? Do you ever get frustrated? My name is Manuel, and I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is also called ADHD. I can get frustrated when I really feel the need to move around, even though I'm supposed to sit still. When my teachers and friends are patient with me, if I forget something or get distracted, I can get myself back on track. What's helpful to you? What's helpful to you? Our 10th discussion question is Manuel wants to know what's helpful to you. What's helpful to you? I'm Nolan. It's helpful to me when the food I eat has a clear label that says it is nut-free because I'm allergic to nuts. They make me so sick that I would have to go to the hospital if I ate any, even by accident. So I always tell people about my allergy and ask if any food has nut ingredients. Speaking up keeps me healthy. How do you use your voice? How do you use your voice? Our 11th discussion question is Nolan wants to know, how do you use your voice? How do you use your voice? I love to sing and I love to talk. I love to make new friends and be included. I am Grace. I was born with Down syndrome. Kids like me with Down syndrome have an extra building block called a chromosome in our bodies. But we are all different from each other too. I can do almost anything any other kid can do, though learning new things can take some time.
One way I learn is to ask questions. What helps you learn? What helps you learn? Our 12th discussion question is, Grace wants to know what helps you learn. What helps you learn? It's me, Sonia again. I ask questions too. When something seems different or new, I just ask my parents or my teachers and they help me to understand, especially if my friends don't feel ready to explain. This is what I've learned. Imagine if all of the plants in this garden were exactly the same. Like, what if we only could grow peas? That would mean no strawberries or cucumbers or carrots. It might also mean no trees or roses or sunflowers. Just like in our garden, all the ways we are different makes our neighborhood, our whole world really, more interesting and fun. And just like all of these plants, each of us has unique powers to share with the world and make it more interesting and richer. What will you do with your powers? What will you do with your powers? Our 13th discussion question is, everyone wants to know, what will you do with your powers? What will you do with your powers? Friends, on this slide, I want you to look at all the discussion questions. I want you to pick one, at least one, that you feel like you could answer and discuss. One that you connect to, one that you could share and feel comfortable in sharing, and some maybe that you can grow from and really think deeply about. Please choose one question at least to prepare to discuss with the class or in your reflection on Seesaw. You may pause the video now to read the questions. Friends, here are some key terms that we used in our discussion and should always be mindful of that may help us as well reflect in our Seesaw activity. The first vocab term is prejudice, a form of judgment that one has before getting to know someone. There are different kinds of prejudice that may be because of one's gender, culture, race, beliefs, or interests. Our second vocab term is bullying, aggressive and mean behavior towards a person because of one's actions or words. Forms of bullying are verbal, relational or social, physical, cyberbullying, or prejudicial. Our third vocab term is ally, a person or group of people who support, stand up for, defend, and protect another person from harm. What can you do with your voice? As a class, we spent time discussing how we can be an ally. But I encourage you to think of ways that you yourself can be an ally for your class, for your peers, for your friends, for your family, and for people you may not even know in our society. How can you be an ally and support others? Here is an author's note from Sonia Sotomayor. I was born on June 25, 1954, and in 1961, when I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. To take care of myself, I had to do things other kids did not. Sometimes I felt different when kids saw me giving myself a needle shot of insulin, my medicine. I knew they were curious about what I was doing, but they never asked me, my parents, or my teachers about it. I also often felt they thought I was doing something wrong. As I grew older, I realized that there are many ways to be, that I was not alone in feeling different. I wanted to write this book to explain how differences make us stronger in a good way. Like my experiences with diabetes, the challenges some kids face can be very hard and sometimes frustrating. Some of us have conditions that require medicines or tools to manage things that other kids never have to deal with. Some of our difficulties are not even visible to others, but they make us feel different, and we may do things that others don't understand. Yet all of these challenges often give us strength that others can't imagine. I hope by seeing yourself or your friends in the story, you will understand that we're all different, and you will find that notion comforting and empowering. I hope too that you will recognize what we have in common. Instead of fearing our differences or ignoring them, we can shed light on them and explore them together. If you ever wonder why someone is doing something different from other kids, just ask. In conclusion, here are our objectives that you now say you have accomplished. I can listen and behave during discussion. I can express the takeaways in our story during discussion and in reflection. And I can write complete sentences in using cups. I hope you enjoyed this story and activity. Remember, just ask.